If the user or student does not have an account in the PSAD mobile application, student must register using important information such as student name, valid email address, class code that will come from the student professor. But if the user is not under the professor but wants to learn how to PC assembly and disassembly, then the user just needs to enter the valid email address and user will receive a verification card in the email after registration to access the application. When the student scrolls down, student will see the other needs to be added for the registration process: the username, password and the confirm password. Once the student's registration is successful, student can proceed to login. Where student needs to log in, the username and password entered on the registration form. It shows the message that will display on the screen once the user click the topic with a gray color. The user must be able to read or study the topics and subtopics in order in the lesson module. There is a picture about what is referred to in the topic and description. Another part of the page asking student a question. After the student read the topic in the lesson module, the next is the quiz module where the student has two options. If the student is not ready to take the quiz, student can press the go back button to go back and study the topic again, and when the student is ready to take the quiz, student need to press the let's go button to proceed in the quiz module. The student need to answer some of the questions related to the topic being discussed. After answering those questions, student can proceed to the next topic and score will be added into the progress module. Shows the result after student take the quiz. If ever the student got a mistakes, student can click the review answers to see where he got the wrong answer. Then once the student is done and would like to proceed to the other topic or simulation, student can click the done button. The system will display the list of lessons accordingly. There are three colors that will identify the status of the lesson. For green indicate that the student is done reading the topic, blue if it is the current lesson that the student is reading and gray show that the student cannot open it. It means that the student cannot proceed to the next topic. The student need to undergo the systematic part of the lesson. The user's progress will display all the user's past history. The system will automatically update the user's progress after the user finished the challenge, whether it is a practice mode or challenge mode. In the settings module you can see the things that can be set by the user or the student. First is the tips and trivia. If the student doesn't want tips and trivia coming out, he can turn it off. In the user's rate and feedback, when the user selects it, another page will appear where he can rate the performance of the PSAD application and give a rate. In the profile, if the user makes a mistake in his name, he can change it. He can also change his username and password other than his email account. The tips and trivia. Everything that the tips and trivia show are factually correct and accurate. The user's rate and feedback. The user's opinion is important in this system, to improve or add things that need to be added. So the user has a chance to rate the PCAD mobile application by clicking on the star. 1 star is the lowest and 5 stars is the highest. There are 3 categories in giving feedback. First is the suggestion, when the user wants to add something. The other is something is not quite right, when the user thinks something is wrong or he doesn't like it, and last is the compliment. The user's profile setting, because for account security, sometimes there are users who weekly or once a month change their password to make it safer that others cannot access their account. When the tutorial button is gray, it means it cannot be accessed because the student need to finish the lesson module before proceeding to the simulation. The simulation module is where student can practice on how to assemble or disassemble the parts of the system unit. certificate is given to those students who have successfully completed all the lessons and passed the quizzes in PCAD. The class lesson is for the student to access his or her professor's uploaded lessons.